many of you can spend $5,000 every single day? Do I see any hands that have no problem spending $5,000 a day? Okay, well, if that's the case, then you need to listen to us, because we're here for your benefit, okay? This is something, how many of you have heard of the Corporate Transparency Act?
Mr. Morrie, Levine, everyone, my privilege to present and speak with today. Graduated from Syracuse University with a BS in accounting. He received his Juris Doctorate from Syracuse University College of Law. In 1989, Mr. Levine successfully defended a client who was accused of fraud in the sale of his business. The lawsuit provided an education as to the rights and obligations of the seller and the purchaser in the sale and acquisition of a business. Since then, Mr. Levine has been actively involved in representing clients in the purchase, sale, and startup of businesses from both the transactional and litigation perspective. Mr. Levine represents clients in both Circuit and County Court in Broward, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach counties. Mr. Levine is past president of the Stephen R. Board Inn of the American Inns of the Court. And Mr. Levine served as the chairman of the board of directors of the Coast to Coast Legal Aid of South Florida, Inc. and Legal Aid Services of Broward County, Inc.
Peter Guella is an attorney, mediator, and the founder and managing shareholder of Guella Law Firm, PA. Mr. Guella is a board-certified specialist in condominium and plan development law. During his career, Mr. Guella has worked closely with clients to provide them successful representation and counsel in various legal matters regarding business matters and real estate issues, including condominiums and homeowner associations. He has acted as outside general counsel to numerous businesses. Having a professional and detail-oriented nature coupled with experience involving litigation and transaction practice, Mr. Guella is positioned to assist clients with varying legal matters. Mr. Guella is a Florida Supreme Court certified circuit mediator. As a certified mediator, Mr. Guella has successfully mediated litigation and pre-suit disputes cases such as those involving business, real estate, and community association issues. Mr. Guella looks forward to helping both sides explore possible solutions.
Thanks, Morrie. All right, disclaimer. This is general information purposes only, no attorney-client, all that. So as Morrie was speaking about, the Corporate Transparency Act, federal law, passed by Congress in 2021. We're looking at money laundering as the issue they're trying to avoid. And so it requires certain entities to file beneficial ownership information, which we'll abbreviate BOI throughout this presentation, reports to FinCEN, which is part of the Treasury. Here are some of the key deadlines that Morrie mentioned earlier. Existing companies as of the effective date of January 1 have until next January 1. This year, if you file or you create your entity, you have 90 calendar days to file a report. And then if you file after January 1, 2025, that goes down to 30 days. Updated reports, if you have updates in the required information in the report, need to be filed within 30 days of any change.
I'm going to jump ahead for a moment here. Each and every one of you has on the table in front of you a document like this. This is the 6 questions that are the most important that you will find out whether you're responsible for filing this report. Our handout for you. Does my business entity have to report its beneficial owners to FinCEN? Second question, who is a beneficial owner of my business entity? Does my business entity have to report its company applicant? How many people here know what a company applicant is? There's possibly 2 people. The number 1 person is the person who actually files with the Secretary of State. The second person that could qualify for that is the person who tells that first person, go ahead and file for the corporation. specific information does my business entity need to report? What and how should my business entity file its initial report?
There are specific enumerated exemptions. Here's the list, a snapshot of what those may be, or are, I should say. And what do we notice is not on this list? Attorneys.
There are two distinct types of companies, potentially. One is a domestic company, one is a foreign reporting company. That means a company that is organized outside of the United States but is registered to do business in the state of Florida. If it is a company or a corporation, and when I say company, a limited liability company, it may be a domestic reporting company. And why do we say may be? Because there's these 23 exemptions. And you have to figure out whether you fit with that. Now, there is also, Keith, are you familiar with all of this? Okay. And you can apply for an exemption, but it has to get approved by the Secretary of the Treasury. It's very difficult to do.
There's an example exemption for taxes at any certain trusts or another exemption you may hear about. If an entity qualifies, for example, here, any of the following criteria, they would fall under tax exempt entity exemption. And another one's for large operating companies. More than 20 employees on a full-time basis are employed, 5 million in gross receipts in the previous year, and you have a physical office in the U.S. That's just a couple examples that are on that list of exemptions.
Who is a beneficial owner? It's a beneficial owner is any individual who directly or indirectly exercises substantial control over a reporting company or owns or controls at least 25% of the ownership interest of a reporting company. An individual might be a beneficial owner through substantial control, ownership, interest, or both. I will tell you, as part of my law practice, I help a lot of companies get organized and file. So therefore, I am the corporate reporter for this.
Drilling down a little bit as to what substantial control means, here's the categories we can look at generally. Whether we're talking about a senior officer of the company, someone in the company who has appointment or removal authority, an important decision maker. As to what actually needs to go on the report that's filed, here's a list as to the reporting company, and then the other half is for each beneficial owner and the company applicant. You can summarize it basically as to the name of the business, address, and there's going to be a distinguishing or identifying number when we're talking about the owners and the company applicant, such as off a U.S. passport or driver's license. These are the things that if they change, you need to file an update to your required report.
Okay, how to report. You do this electronically, okay? You cannot do this with paper. You cannot do it by fax. You cannot, but you can do it by email, which we did, or going on the website for FinCEN. And they provide a FinCEN identifier that you can, for future entities, other entities that you go take care of, you save information that you do not have to provide to them if you decide to choose to do that. The instructions for this is all part of the BOI report form. It's on there. It is not that difficult, but if you want assistance, you know where to find it.
Here's just a snapshot of for a successful BOI report filing. This is what you get filing successful status. Congratulations.
Thank you for your attention.